Good morning, Nova here, June 16th, 2026, and welcome to your morning AI and IT news in U.S. Eastern Time. Today's big theme is control. Who controls the tools, the data, the chips, the browser rules, and even the public conversation around AI? That question shows up everywhere in today's lineup. We've got OpenAI making a developer play, Google pushing faster and more natural AI experiences, NVIDIA flexing infrastructure muscle, and security debates getting a lot more political. So if you build software, buy cloud services, manage risk, or just wonder where AI is heading next, this morning's stories connect in a pretty interesting way. Developer. OpenAI moves to acquire ONA for persistent Codex cloud agents. OpenAI says it plans to acquire ONA, a startup focused on secure, persistent cloud environments for AI coding agents. The goal is to expand Codex so agents can keep running across longer enterprise workflows instead of stopping after a short task. That means background jobs, connected tools, and more durable memory inside controlled environments. Persistent execution is the missing piece. For OpenAI, this also strengthens its position against GitHub Copilot, Anthropic-powered coding tools, and cloud-native agent platforms from Google and Microsoft partners. Watch for tighter integrations with identity systems, audit logs, and virtual private cloud controls. Ever heard of persistent agents? They are AI systems that keep working after you close the chat, using saved state, tools, and secure runtime environments to complete longer jobs over minutes, hours, or days. Security. OpenAI says PRC-linked influence campaigns are targeting U.S. AI debates. OpenAI released a new report describing PRC-linked influence operations that used AI tools to shape U.S. discussions around tech policy. The campaigns reportedly touched AI regulation, data center narratives, tariffs, and false claims involving ChatGPT. The company says it disrupted related accounts and published indicators to help researchers track the activity. The timing matters. AI policy is now tied to trade, energy, chips, cloud infrastructure, and national competitiveness. If influence operations can distort those debates, they can affect regulation, investment, and public trust all at once. This also shows how generative AI lowers the cost of producing persuasive content at scale. Even low-quality campaigns can flood social platforms, comments, and niche forums with enough volume to muddy the signal. Watch for more platform reporting, cross-company intelligence sharing, and pressure on lawmakers to treat AI influence operations as a cyber policy issue. Ever heard of influence operations? They are organized efforts, often state-linked, to shape public opinion using fake personas, coordinated messaging, and increasingly AI-generated text, images, and local language content across multiple platforms. Cloud. Google pushes Agentic RAG in Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. Google is promoting what it calls Agentic RAG inside the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. In simple terms, it lets an AI answer questions using company data instead of only what the model learned during training. The new pitch is dependability. Agents that can search, reason, and cite enterprise information more consistently. Why it matters now is pretty straightforward. Companies love AI demos, but they still worry about hallucinations, stale answers, and weak governance. Agentic RAG is Google's answer. It combines retrieval, workflow logic, and data management, so agents can do more than just chat. They can pull records, compare sources, and act with more context. This is also a cloud competition story. Google wants to stand out against Microsoft's Copilot stack, AWS Bedrock tools, and startup orchestration platforms. Watch for pricing tied to storage, query volume, connectors, and governance features. Ever heard of RAG? It is a method that lets an AI fetch relevant documents at answer time, which usually makes responses more accurate, current, and grounded in a company's own data. Generative AI. DiffusionGemma promises much faster text generation. Google introduced DiffusionGemma, a text generation model that uses diffusion techniques and is said to deliver about 4x faster text generation in certain settings. Diffusion methods are more common in image creation, but Google is applying the idea to language to improve speed and potentially efficiency on some hardware. That is important because the AI race is no longer only about smartest models. It is also about latency, cost, and where models can run. If a model can generate useful text faster, developers can build more responsive apps, and providers can serve more users per dollar of compute. This could matter especially for on-device AI, edge deployments, and high-volume enterprise workloads, where every fraction of a second adds up. It also suggests model architecture innovation is still very much alive beyond the usual transformer path. Watch for benchmark details, quality trade-offs, and whether open releases drive adoption. Ever heard of diffusion models? They usually create outputs by gradually refining noise into a final result. That process became famous in image AI, and researchers are now adapting it for language tasks. AI. Gemini 3.5 Live Translate brings more natural, real-time voice translation. Google says Gemini 3.5 Live Translate is rolling out across Google AI Studio, Google Translate, and Google Meet, offering near real-time speech translation with more natural voice output. The focus is not just accuracy, but fluid conversation, lower delay, and speech that sounds less robotic. This matters because live translation is becoming a core AI product category, not a side feature. If meetings, customer support, education, and travel can happen across languages with less friction, that expands the practical market for AI dramatically. It also gives Google another consumer and enterprise bridge product, since Meet, Translate, Android, and Workspace all benefit. The big question is reliability in noisy environments, accents, domain-specific vocabulary, and privacy. Enterprises will want clear answers on whether audio is stored, how transcripts are handled, and what compliance controls exist. Watch for supported languages, latency comparisons, and paid workspace packaging. Ever heard of speech-to-speech translation? It converts spoken language directly into another spoken language, aiming to preserve timing, tone, and conversational flow instead of just translating text on a screen. Semiconductors. NVIDIA Blackwell tops first Agentic AI infrastructure benchmark. NVIDIA says its Blackwell Ultra NVL72 platform leads the first published results from AgentPerf by Artificial Analysis, described as the industry's first benchmark focused on Agentic AI infrastructure. According to NVIDIA, the system delivered leading performance on tested workloads and ran about 20 times more agents per megawatt than previous generation Hopper-based infrastructure. That matters because AI buyers are asking different questions now. They do not just want tokens per second. They want to know how many autonomous agents a system can support, how efficiently it handles tool use, and what power budget that requires. Energy and rack density are now business issues, not just engineering details. For NVIDIA, this is a useful benchmark as cloud providers and enterprises plan next-generation data centers. For rivals, including AMD and custom silicon vendors, it raises the pressure to show agent-specific performance, not just raw model throughput. Watch for independent validation and broader benchmark participation. Ever heard of Agentic AI infrastructure? It refers to the servers, networking, memory, and software stack optimized for AI systems that take actions, use tools, and manage multi-step tasks, not just answer prompts. Security. Cybersecurity experts push back on U.S. limits for Anthropic models. A group of cybersecurity veterans is urging the White House to remove export control restrictions affecting Anthropic's most powerful models, including Fable and Mythos. Their argument is that the rules may block defenders, researchers, and product security teams from using advanced models to find vulnerabilities, analyze malware, and secure software faster. This is a fascinating policy split. Governments worry that frontier models could help adversaries with cyber offense, but defenders say restricting access can backfire if attackers still find ways to use similar tools while legitimate security teams lose ground. In practice, the same model capabilities that raise risk can also improve patching, reverse engineering, incident response, and secure code review. Why it matters now is simple. AI is becoming part of core cyber defense operations. Limiting model access could reshape who gets to automate security work and where that work happens geographically. Watch for revisions, exemptions, and industry lobbying. Ever heard of export controls? They are government rules that limit who can access certain technologies across borders, often for national security reasons, including advanced chips, software, and now some AI systems. Security. Chrome 150 and 151 tighten the final screws on old ad blocker workarounds. Google Chrome versions 150 and 151, expected in late June and July, will reportedly shut down the remaining loopholes that allowed older ad blockers to keep working after the shift away from Manifest v2. That means legacy extensions such as classic uBlock origin-style setups will lose the last workaround paths in Chrome. This has been building since Google began phasing out Manifest v2 in 2024 and pushing developers toward Manifest v3. Google says the newer framework improves security, privacy, and extension performance. Critics argue it reduces the power of content blocking tools by limiting how they inspect and filter network requests. Why it matters now is that browser rules affect millions of users, extension developers, advertisers, and privacy advocates all at once. Some users may move to Firefox or Brave. Others will accept lighter blockers. Watch for enterprise policy exceptions, user backlash, and how quickly developers adapt. Ever heard of Manifest v3? It is Google's newer Chrome extension framework designed to tighten security and performance controls, but controversial because it restricts some techniques older ad blockers relied on. Hey, Nova here. That was a packed one, but the thread is pretty clear. AI is moving from flashy demos into infrastructure, policy, and everyday workflow decisions. OpenAI wants longer-running coding agents. Google wants more dependable enterprise answers and more natural translation. NVIDIA wants to define the hardware standard. And security fights are now happening in browsers, export policy, and even online influence campaigns. So the next phase of AI may be less about one amazing model and more about who controls the full stack around it. Thanks for spending part of your morning with me. All right, catch me again tomorrow. Have a great day out there.